when they join with their
What is up, everybody? I hope that you guys are having a fantastic morning, afternoon, and or evening, depending on what time you may be watching this. I'm recording this on a Sunday, so this is going to be going out tomorrow. I'm sorry, Soda. Anyway, let's all show some love to Soda. Anyway, so today I'm just going to be going over some of the new changes that they're working on, looking at, testing. Keep in mind, any of the stuff that I say here, none of it is final, because none of the stuff that they are talking about is final. It's all just in testing phases, so we'll get to see what they might do with that. And there's just a lot of stuff to look over, so we're just gonna go and jump right into it. If you guys do want to watch me on stream, I do stream over live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Tzboom, or down in the description, whatever you want to go with. If you do like this video, like and subscribe, and you know, anything that you may or may not agree with me on, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and I will try to reply to you. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Alrighty, so jumping right into it, for those of you who do not know, Hellbent Games posts all of their updates on Medium. Now, if you do not want to follow their Medium or anything, since you might not have any idea what that is, you can go and find all of this in their announcements channel in their official Discord server. Very easy, very simple. Now we're just going to skip through a decent amount of stuff, just because I don't want this video to be forever, and yeah. So anyway, moving on. Here are their three main things that they want to talk about: queue times and dead lobbies, monster gameplay experience, and the store and purchasing issues. So here, the queue times and dead lobbies, obviously if you want to go and read through all this stuff, you can. If you want to go to the website, nice and easy, you can find it. Most of you probably already know. Basically what they're going to be doing is they will be implementing a new way of finding data of why dead lobbies are happening at all, because currently it doesn't really seem like they necessarily know, and they want to be able to 100% pinpoint the exact reason as to why, so they can try to fix it the first time, instead of trying something, it doesn't work, community gets mad, and then they keep trying it over and over again. They'd rather just let the dead lobbies keep happening for a bit, but make sure that they can pinpoint it and then figure it out, and then actually put in a proper update and a proper patch to make sure that the lobbies are no longer dead lobbies, and that queue times might be better, and that matchmaking can be better. So I personally agree with this decision. I think that it's a good idea. Obviously they could just trial and error it, but that doesn't normally go too well. If you watch from other game companies, they've tried this stuff, and normally it ends up in a lot more issues than what it's worth. Now, moving on down to the monster gameplay experience. As a lot of people know, and as possibly you yourself know, sometimes it's not very fun playing monster. A lot of people don't have fun playing monster. I personally, even as a teen main, do enjoy playing monster. I personally main Dollmaster. Unfortunately, I'm stuck on the grind for some perks, so I can't really play my boy too much yet. But he's my go-to. He's the man. He's the go-to man. So anyway, as you can see here, as I was talking about, disclaimer, these are not guaranteed, but proposed changes that are currently in the experimental stage. So like I said, all of this stuff is they're just going to be testing in their own servers, and whatever they see fit, they may or may not implement. So whatever you do, take all of this stuff with a grain of salt. There could be all of these things that get added. I highly doubt that, but there will probably be a couple things that do change or get added. So anyway, let's just go get right into it. The dynamic bounty system. The 10% bounty multiplier for monsters added in the last patch was our first experiment with seeing how changes in rewards would impact queue behavior. So here is the problem with the 10% that it currently is right now, and what they're going to be changing. 10% for monster players doesn't really do anything, and 10% for teen players also doesn't really do anything, because XP doesn't really mean too much, and since you can't level up weapons with monster XP, you can't level up other characters with monster XP. So if you're a teen player, there was no real incentive to play monster, my bad. So they're kind of trying to figure out something, so there are more teen players who want to play monster, and give monster players even more of a reason to play monster more consistently. So when the system is in place, a player on the character selection screen may be shown bounties as follows. If the player's selected region currently has a shortage of monsters in a certain MMR range, players who have a monster in that MMR range will be offered a bounty. So let's say that that your Dollmaster MMR is really high and there's already enough people playing at high MMR Dollmaster, your bounty may only be, I'm going to use Flux for example, your bounty may only be 5 Flux. But if you're low MMR Werewolf and the game needs low MMR Werewolf, then you could get 200 Flux for playing one game. I doubt that it'll be like that, but just as a general number value to give it some sort of actual like thought, and so that you can kind of understand what their plan is with that. If playing as a monster in an MMR range where there is no shortage of players, a bounty may not be offered or may be in small. Like I said, if you're high MMR DM and they don't need high MMR DMs, then the bounty will just not be very high. The system will be able to offer bounties for teens as well as monsters, though we expect monsters will be offered the majority of bounty bonuses at this time. So currently, it's for basic numbers, there's like 20% monster players who play this game and like 80% teen players who play this game. So it's a little difficult right now for them to pinpoint exactly what they want to do, but I think that this will come into play much later down the future, because I'm with the monsters that they're like possibly planning on adding, I am very excited to see what they do, and I'm sure that monster will end up taking over at some point. Now, end of game sequence changes. The end of game sequence is what happens in a match after one team has won. Either the last team is downed or the last wound is dealt to the monster. So basically, whatever side wins, that's the end of game sequence. So anyway, moving on. Our design for the revised end of game sequence includes the following: new music for when winning or losing the match, new equip slots for both teen and monster to play celebrity emote sequences at the end of a match, and also a commendation system for both factions to provide a way to compliment your teammates and opponents based on your experience in the match. Bonus points may also be awarded based on commendation levels. Commendations received. I just had to check myself there. So first off, new music for when winning or losing a match. I like that. That's like really simple. That's just cool. I'm always good with that. Now this one should be fun. New equip slots for both teen and monster to play celebratory emote sequences at the end of a match. That's really cool. That's one thing that I was thinking of for a while, because you couldn't emote into like an end game screen, and it was kind of unfortunate because sometimes you'd want to just casually be way off in the background being a Faith, just, you know, running manning, so, you know, and you couldn't do that. So now you can do that soon, hopefully. And then a commendation system for both factions to provide a way to compliment your teammates and opponents based on your experience in the match. This is pretty simple. For those of you who have played Overwatch, I believe that it's going to be like that system, where there's going to be different commendations that you can give people, which is going to be really cool. And you're going to be able to give it to your teammates. You're going to be able to give it to your opponents. If you want to say, hey buddy, you did a really nice job, awesome. League of Legends also has a system like that. It seems to be a good idea, and honestly, it's kind of nice whenever you see a little notification of, oh hey, somebody gave you this thingy because you were the most supportive player or you were the most murderous player. That stuff is always just nice. So I think that all of these changes to make the endgame sequence a little more fun, a little more enjoyable, a little more rewarding, I think that all of these changes are fantastic for this. Now here is where a lot of the changes that are interesting and or questionable are coming into play. The Book of the Dead changes. So I'm not even gonna read through this because I can explain it way faster. So before, the Book of the Dead could spawn before a single teen was dead. So you could find it before anybody died, you could open it, you could have the book when all 4 teens are still alive. That is possibly going to be changing. Remember, all of this is none of this is set in stone. All of this is still just a possibility. So now, one teen has to die for the Book of the Dead to spawn in, which is interesting. I like the direction that they were going with it, because I will admit it was kind of goofy that you were able to just find the Book of the Dead in the first minute and a half of the game and have the book, and then as soon as somebody dies, if you have a weapon and you have the book, you can immediately go res them, and the monster can't really do too much generally. So it was just a little wacky. I do wish that it was just a little bit different though. So I do like that it is once one teen has died, then it spawns. But I also wish that for the games that go really long, because I will admit, once you're super high MMR, games will go on for a very long time. Once you start to go up against good monster players, you really end up going for very long games. That's just how it is. And being able to have the book already is very beneficial. So I think that having the one teen dead, or having a certain time where the book will spawn after X amount of time has passed, I think that would be a nice little bonus, because then it rewards teens for still playing for a long time. And you know, obviously there are some scenarios where it will be bad. I fully admit that. There will be some scenarios where teens will draw out a really long game and do whatever they can, and that's not good. But in those scenarios, you can't really just count towards those games, because those are not going to happen all that often. But yeah, so I'm thinking something like maybe 12 minutes into the match, book spawns, everybody can find it, or if that one teen is dead, then everybody can find it. And I just think that it would be kind of helpful and kind of nice. So yeah, there's kind of my 2 cents on just that. Banishment changes. This is kind of crazy. There's a lot of stuff to go over. We're just gonna skip over all of this. We're just gonna go down to here. All monster power cooldowns will refresh after becoming banished. It felt excessively punishing for a monster to use a power with a long cooldown just before being banished and not being able to use it upon returning to regain momentum. So whenever a monster was banished, it turned into a very large snowball effect, where let's say Doll Master teleports to a doll and then immediately dies, his cooldown doesn't get refreshed. And that's a full-on minute cooldown at base. That's a very long cooldown. So it hurt a lot when you would spawn back in and there was a chance that you could spawn near teens, but since you're Doll Master and you're Body Master and you don't have teleport up, you just can't go anywhere, and that sucks. Same thing with Hunt, or same thing with possibly Echolocation. All of those are really helpful to have, like right when you spawn in, so that teens can't snowball as hard. Obviously, a snowball's a snowball, and you can really only slow it down. But this will definitely help slow it down quite a lot. So I think that is a very good change. I really do hope that they bring this to the table, because I would like to be able to teleport and then die, and then maybe teleport again if I have to, if I get a very unlucky spawn. Next up, while a monster is banished, teens will not be able to craft or charge weapons. Teens can still perform other actions such as reviving, healing, searching vending machines, etc. during this period. Personally, I don't really see this as a very effective tool. I don't really see a reason in it personally. Let me explain why and the reasoning as to, all of my thoughts on it. So, what effectively do you do since the monster is only banished for like 12 seconds? What are you gonna do if you're, let's say, crafting a flamethrower in home ec on high school and the vending machines are open and you have to run, let's say monster dies, you can no longer craft, and it's already gonna take you like 8 seconds minimum, generally longer, to get all the way over to the vending machine just to start doing it, just to spend another like 8 seconds going back to the weapon. I don't really see a purpose in this other than freezing the game for 12 seconds. I don't really think that it's going to do anything. And I mean, healing, I've learned there's not a very good way to make people heal, and most people are not going to spend the 12 seconds to heal. Even though it only takes 16 seconds, it's just probably not going to be a thing. It could. I don't really know. Once again, all this stuff is just in the testing phase, and they don't really know, and I don't really know. But I don't really see a reason in possibly even making this at all a thing. Moving on to the next thing that kind of pairs with this, increasing the duration of banishment. So it's a little interesting. It's a little sketchy, because banishment right now, like I said, is around about 12 seconds. Now, if they pair these two things together, then it might be okay. It just might be. But I'm not totally sure. That's kind of the hard part. I don't really see too much of a reason in it still, and increasing the banishment duration just seems like it'll, well, if they here's the thing, if they don't add this, then increasing the duration of banishment just hurts Monster even more. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that the way that it'll work is we'll either get both of these or we'll get neither of them. I think that they will either pair together or they just will not be, you know, in the game at all. So now on to this last little bit here. Creating a Scream Shockwave at the point where the monster returns from being banished. I have no idea about this one, man. I don't really think that it's all that necessary, unless you maybe make the Scream a lot smaller than like the regular Scream. Because if you just come out of it and let's say that you have Screamfest equipped, Screamfest 3, you spawn, and then it kind of flips the entire tide of the reason why this is even a thing that's like a possibility is because there's a lot of people who apparently play Monster, spawn in at a bad spot, and then immediately die for it. And then this would just completely do the counter to teens, and then it's kind of dumb for teens because there's already nothing that teens can do then. So it's a little rough. By the way, don't mind me. I'm just going to take a quick sip of my sweet tea.
Don't let your kids watch it!
I'm scared for what soda might do to that. Anyway. So yeah, I don't really know. It's interesting. It's an interesting idea. I don't really think that it's I don't personally like the idea. I don't think that it's a very good idea, but I guess that we'll see. I have no idea yet. Now, plague system changes. This one, I will flat out say right now, I do not like this idea at all. The reasoning why, there's all this stuff on it. I will just sum it up. Currently, there are 4 different plagues that you can bring into your game. They're counted as prizes, and what this is saying here is that if you don't bring a plague in, you'll be able to work up to a certain amount of hits, and then once you have enough hits, you'll be able to summon one of the 4 random plagues out of the blue. You don't get to pick, or at least that's what this is saying, just one random one out of the void, and just get one for free in every single game, if not get 2 in every single game. And that I do not like in the slightest, because one of the key reasons that I absolutely love this game, that's very rare with ASIMs or a lot of games, is it makes Monster very RNG based. If you get a plague that makes somebody bleed out faster and no one's on the floor, then like that's completely pointless and that did nothing for you. But if you get one that, you know, makes people not be able to craft or do anything nearly as fast, just out of the blue because you got lucky RNG, I just don't think that that's a good fit for the game. This game is very skill based. This game is very hard, and the people who have put time into it benefit from knowing it, and you know, knowing there's a very minimal amount of RNG, which I love. There are the chompy bars, sodas, walkie-talkies, and noisemakers around the map, and then every station has like, I don't know, like 5 to like 8 different spawning areas, but they're all roughly in the same area, and that's like all the RNG. There isn't really anything else, so I would hate to see them add a big element of just straight RNG that can either help the monster incredibly for just playing the game, or do completely nothing for the monster and make the monster player sad. It seems a little iffy. I'm not into it at all, but I guess we'll see. I personally don't think that this will get added just because I don't think that the devs want their game to be very RNG based, but I guess we'll go and see. So, new status effect busted. This one is interesting. I don't really, I like it in one area and I don't like it in another. So basically, this is to counter games that just go on forever, where teens have taken like 9 hits and just don't die. Busted. The busted status effect, and I'll just go and read this because it'll make a lot of sense. Teams will gain the busted status for the remainder of the match after receiving 6 hits. Resurrection will not reset the status. So basically, you're just injured after 6 hits have happened. So as soon as you've been hit the 6th time, if it even comes to that, you cannot heal anymore. There's no way to heal except for one way. And this is the part that I do not like. So, currently, all 3 holy weapons are kind of ineffective and don't really do a whole lot, which is tough. It's tough, and I understand that. But like after the cross nerf, which don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna say cross didn't need the nerf. Cross absolutely needed the nerf. It was way too OP for like not a whole lot of skill required. You just him, you know, you just do that and you're fine. But after they made all of these changes, there's not a holy weapon that's good. Slingshot is fun. It only has a few uses, and it's only decent at those uses. There are other weapons that do its job better, so that's kind of just slingshot. And then the staff, and as we all know, staff has been pretty bad from the start. You don't get that much of a healing speed multiplier, and you need to heal like 1 1/3 people, and it's just it's tough. So it looks like instead of making the staff better, they are making an entire purpose for the staff to exist in the first place, which is making the staff kind of required, which I don't necessarily like. It seems kind of off-putting, because don't get me wrong, matches that go on forever where teams take 6 hits, that's rough. But generally, when they're on 6 hits, they're going to be injured the entire time, but they're going to have a chompy bar, and there's nothing that's stopping them from eating a chompy bar. Now, maybe if Busted stopped them from eating a chompy bar, let's say that they could still heal, because I don't really like not being able to heal at all. And good monsters can track. That's the thing. Good monsters have good ears. They can track pretty well. If you do not know, a lot of playing monster is a lot of audio and a lot of tracking feet as soon as you hit whatever team you're trying to hit. Anyway, like that team that has 3 choppy bars around the map and they know where that is, the Busted is not going to do anything. And trying to force the staff into, you know, being built more, just it doesn't seem like the way to go. But I'm okay with the Busted status effect. It's not my favorite, but like I'll play around it. Other people will play around it, but I'll make sure to figure it out. And hey, if I have to build a staff just to heal and then throw it away just to go make a flamethrower, I will do that 100%. So it's all doable. I'm not super worried about it, but I guess that we'll just have to see where it goes and see what they might do with chompy bars, because those are kind of the things that I think most monsters need to be afraid of, because those are the only things that can keep games going 6 hits or longer. So anyway, moving on to the next, oh yeah, here. Again, these are not guaranteed changes, but reworks that are currently in experimental stage. It's awesome. I'm hoping that they try out some more things than just this. I do like what they have here so far. I would like to see, I wish that Book of the Dead was just a tiny bit different, but I do like the direction that they're going with it. I really do like the end of game sequence. The banishment changes are interesting. I like the first one. I don't really like the 2 and 3, and then creating a Scream Shockwave, I would be cool with it if it's like a smaller Scream, but if it's like the regular Scream and it can benefit from Screamfest 3, that just seems really, really powerful for no real reason. The Plague system, not really into because very RNG, and Busted, I'm on the fence about it. I would have to know more of what they're going to do with it and possibly see if they're going to do anything with staff to possibly make it better. So here's all this stuff. Be Kind, Rewind, Creator Program Update, cool. A lot of good stuff going on here. If you want to read through all this, you guys can. What happens next? Cool. More stuff. Advertising and marketing. They do plan on doing marketing and advertising soon-ish. They did give us some new content though, the Endless Summer Catalog. So if you guys have not taken a peek at this, here are some nice little previews. some Brett and Gloria over on the beach. Very, very nice. Some of the lads got the floaties on. I approve of it. Here's this. little scary. I'd be terrified if there was a werewolf next to me. I'm pretty sure this is Dollmaster though, so I think it's all right. I do have something special here. I just like this picture. This is a good picture. Very, very nice. We gotta love a wart with any hat just looks good. I love it. Wart with any hat is beautiful. Here's this. For those of you who do not know, I have a team member who mains Wart. He's our monster for Stefan's Angels, and his name is Shark Kaboom. So yeah, they've added Shark Kaboom into the game officially, so that's cool. That is a joke, by the way. This is just a shark skin because it's cool. Now, here is something that is interesting, and it could totally be skeptics, but it is something that I have seen around and people have been talking about it. So here we got Gloria, and here we got Leo, and we got a nice little forest behind them. Looks like they're on some nice green grass for golfing, and then some nice trees, and then some stumps, and then what the hell is that? That could just be a greener stump, or it could be something else. I don't really know what it could be. I've looked a little bit into the image, but yeah, I don't know anything about it, and it might not be anything. It might just be a stump, but it's very, very light to be a stump, so I don't really know. Let me know what your thoughts on this are, I guess. Let me know if you guys think that's anything. I am excited to possibly see in the hopefully near future if this is anything, and if not, then that's okay. It's still cool to like have some thoughts and ideas about stuff. And yeah, here's some cool stuff. If you want to go ahead and put all this in, make sure to go to their Medium. And yeah, that's everything. If you guys did make it this far into the video, thank you for watching. I know it's a while. It's gonna be like a 26-minute video. I'm very sorry. Anyway, thank you guys so very much. Like I said, let me know what you guys think. Remember, all of this stuff, this is just testing. They don't know what, they have not said anything that they are going with. They have not said anything that they're not going with. This is all just ideas. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you might agree with me on, disagree with me on. I'll talk to you in the comments. I normally do. But yeah, thank you guys so very much. I hope that you guys did enjoy this video. I know how to speak English. Make sure that if you did enjoy the stuff, subscribe, leave a like potentially. And yeah, thank you guys very, very much. I will talk to you later. Yay! Awesome. Well, thank you guys. If you guys did make it this way,